Later today, President Biden expected to announce the White House's plan to sell off an additional 15 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in December. That plan is an unprecedented effort to counter market pressures created by the OPEC Plus decision to cut oil production in November. The White House is hoping that this will add enough supply to the market in order to prevent rising oil and gas prices from hurting consumers even more across the country. Joining us to discuss this, President Biden's plan to sell off the nation's emergency oil reserves, Tom Dempsey, also in the Capitol. Tom.
Hey, Marni. Yeah, later today, we expect President Joe Biden to announce the release of 15 million barrels of oil from the country's strategic oil reserve. Already, the reserve is sitting at its lowest level since 1984. But with midterms now less than 3 weeks away, President Biden hopes to really lower gas prices at the pump and pick up some of that momentum that's really stalled for Democrats recently. Just this morning, Gas Buddy reported the national average for a gallon of regular to be $3.86. That's up almost 20 cents from where it stood about a month ago. This decision by the president completes the release of 180 million barrels of oil from the reserve over the last 6 months. And it follows that decision from OPEC Plus to cut production a few weeks ago. The president could also call for additional releases from the reserve this winter, depending on where prices go. And don't be surprised if the president further calls out oil companies and their profits as prices continue to rise at the pump. But in response to all these developments, the U.S. Oil and Gas Association, which represents oil workers and producers, posted this to Twitter, calling out the White House for reducing offshore drilling before saying the releases at the reserves won't produce additional supply, saying those volumes have already been produced, before adding, quote, "We are going backwards." Again, we expect that announcement from President Joe Biden calling for the release of this millions of barrels of oil later today, Marni.
How do you expect, Tom, what are you hearing him to address the low levels of the strategic reserve? Any indication on what he may say about that?
Yeah, that's going to be a very big talker with this. You know, how the heck do you, restock the oil reserve after using so much oil to kind of help with prices? But again, the president does have plans to kind of address that later today. Again, restocking the oil reserve when prices go lower, somewhere in the range of, $67 to $72 a barrel. But Marni, it could be some time before prices get that low, especially considering that OPEC Plus just, chose to cut the production not too long ago, a few weeks ago. So again, the president hoping to restock the oil reserve when prices get lower. But again, no telling when that could come, Marni.
All right, we'll be monitoring the president's remarks later today. Tom Dempsey in Washington. Tom, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.